After an abandoned game between England and Ireland at Headingley, it's time for probably a very quick Ask George. Been a long day, hasn't it, George?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a disappointing day.
Yeah, I was quite excited to see something get going before the kind of World Cup excitement, but didn't.
I'm surprised that they haven't played.
Yeah.
But I haven't been out there, and everyone who has says it's really, really wet, and you don't want to, ruin people's careers potentially by them falling over and hurting themselves. So really unfortunate.
So a few questions today. We've got one from Background Noise who asks, there's been a lot of disgruntlement over the manner in which Jason Roy was omitted from the World Cup squad. What would be a better way of doing this in the future, and do you think he'll play for England again?
I think that's a really well put question, and I do the first bit first. I don't think he'll play for England again, but, he might prove me wrong. Just because it's a new cycle. He'd already been dropped from the T20 side. T20 World Cup obviously coming up in June or so. But the next 50 over World Cup is probably out of his reach, so they should be playing younger players in that. So that's probably gone. I think he's had a fantastic career. An architect of England's incredible 2019 win. Huge part of the change from 15 onwards. I've been a bit struck by the negativity I felt towards him, I may be wrong, from people on Twitter in recent days. We were talking about it in the press box, actually. I think he's got I think I just spat, didn't I? I'm sorry.
He's got what I would call an RBF.
I was referring to a resting face that looks a bit grumpy. All I can say in my experience, limited experience, he's not grumpy. He's a passionate England player. There's a bit of confusion about Jason Roy because of this handing back his central contract. That was just a technicality. It wasn't him rejecting England. The ECB hadn't embraced the American League yet, and that was largely because the ICC hadn't sanctioned it yet, and because it was in the English season and they wanted to look at it. Fine, all sorts of things. There was no controversy about him saying I want to go and play in it. It wasn't like he was doing anything else, but it was just a technicality where he had to say I need to give it back, is that all right? They said yes. Doesn't really make any difference. He said to me that recently he would sign a central contract in a heartbeat if he was offered it.
Yeah, he came out and said, look, playing for England still means the world to me. It's not like I'm disrespecting that more than wanting to play franchise cricket. But you sort of wonder if the sort of hubbub around that kind of sort of soured his kind of vibes amongst England fans, maybe?
Yes. I think it has, but I think it's a misunderstanding.
Yeah, totally.
And I don't think it should have made any difference to selection.
No.
Because I don't think the England management think like that at all. I think they realise, look, I can't remember exactly how the question was phrased, but it was like the manner in which he's been left out. That's the issue. They've probably ended up at the right squad. I mean, I'd have picked Harry Brook. They've probably got there by a roundabout route. The issue I would feel very uncomfortable with is you can't really tell players they're going, and he was told he was going, no one disputes that, and then not take them. Not unless they're properly injured, there's a really good reason. So I think that what they did ahead of the 19 World Cup is they picked an 18-man squad, I think, or 17 maybe, and then said they were going to whittle it down. Now that's brutal, but we all accept that international sport is pretty brutal, but we do want it to be a bit less, less brutal if possible, less callous. I don't know. To tell a fella they're going and then not take him, I don't know. I think that's a bit shoddy, actually. I think it's pretty poor and I feel bad for him. Having said that, on form, are there people who are going better? Yeah, maybe they are at this stage of his career, but I hope people remember what a fantastic player he was for England, because...
Yeah, there's no 2019 win without Jason Roy.
I don't think there is. I mean, England was struggling in that tournament before he came back into the side, and he just smashed it. He was fantastic in that World Cup semi-final. I think I've said before, was one of my favourite days as a journalist, and he was a massive part of that. So, yeah, I hope he's remembered well. Good question, though.
Yes.
You see, you thought it was going to be short.
Harley T.R. Williams, not really a question, more a statement. I just want to see Sam Hain in action for England. And I think, as we all do, it's been coming, as you've said plenty of times, George.
I'm a big Sam Hain fan as well.
All aboard the Hain train.
I know Harley. Hello, Harley. Harley's a Warwickshire supporter. And I'm not sure he would have played today because of Joe Root, but I suspect Joe Root won't play in Nottingham. I think Sam Hain's good enough to average 40 in every format of international cricket. I think he's a fantastic player. But whether he's better than the people who are in the side, they're a really good team, aren't they? But the next 4-year cycle, that could be Sam Hain's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And he's a nice bloke as well. Nice fella.
Most of them are, to be fair.
Yeah. Being outside of cricket has asked, if this series gets rained off, how many points will Durham be deducted by the ECB?
Nice long memory there. Nothing. I mean, it's a great question. I'm not blaming Yorkshire for this. These are the autumn internationals, and it's always a risk, particularly playing day-night cricket at this time of year. North of England, September. I mean, it shouldn't really be happening, should it?
I mean, ironically, there is bright sunshine ahead of us now, coming from South Leeds.
There is. It looks like a lovely evening right now, but
you still have a big coat on.
Yeah. Well, who, me?
I think the general public should.
Oh yes, definitely, yes. Look, I think it's just unfortunate, but it tells you lots about the scheduling. We know we've got a great big competition in the prime weeks of summer that makes everything else difficult. I don't mean that in a pejorative sense. I mean, obviously, I don't like it at all, but right now I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there are facts that we have to
There's a lot of cricket
accept.
Fit in, not much time, really.
No, but when you've got a second 11 England side playing at this time of year, maybe it's time to take a step back and say, what the hell's the point of this?
I think I was quite intrigued to see what 11 would come out today, just because it does seem sort of like experimental, sort of. I mean, we were speaking in the press box about how many of the squad going to the World Cup are over 30. Decent chunk of them, you presume this might be their last World Cup, full stop.
Yeah, for sure.
So really, I was seeing this is like the sort of next generation test. It's like when you're doing your GCSEs and you get bumped to year 11 before the summer starts. That's what I was seeing it as. Zach Crawley's been bumped up to head boy for a series, and we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, on that, I'm not sure I'd read that much into that, because would he be, were Ollie Pope fit or Sam Curran available? I don't know. But anyway, it's a run out for him. And yeah, this, as I said about Sam Hain, these guys are the future. It is a glimpse into the future. And this is the bulk of the team who I expect will be playing the World Cup in Southern Africa in 4 years' time. I mean, obviously there's a couple of people in that other squad, Brooke and Curran and can't remember who else, who might still be there. But, this is the bulk of them, and they're very good players, and that is exciting. Yes, it's a glimpse of the future.
Yeah, I think good to just get a run out and just see how it's going, really.
Yeah, but you can play Lions cricket for that. I mean, there's a reason why. I think they sold 10,000 tickets, and there were 4,000 giveaways.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, if you tell people there's going to be an ODI, and then you play a second 11, don't know.
But then again, it is a Wednesday in term time in September.
So whichever way you look at it, the scheduling is poor. There's no, let's not make excuses for it. But I'm not blaming Yorkshire or Leeds. I'm sure as hell not blaming Durham.
They've got enough going on.
Well, they're about to go up, and if you ask Steve Harmison, they're favourites for the county championship next year. They're, a club doing lots of things right.
What do you think we can hope to see from the next ODI? I don't know. Better weather?
Some cricket.
Some cricket.
It's a very high-scoring ground, one of the high-scoring grounds in the world. Yep. If we get some good weather, I'm sure we'll see really, really high scores from a very exciting England batting line. A tough place to bowl. It'll be fun if it happens.
Definitely. Well, that's us from Headingley and my last game of the summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
but we'll be back on for the ODI World Cup very soon, George. See me on some Zoom calls.
Why don't we drink the bottle I smuggled in for you?
Yes.
I definitely didn't do that. I definitely didn't do that.
No.
Didn't do that.
Pop to a local pub. Because it's lovely weather now.
It is. It's pub.
Yeah.
Beer garden weather. It's not really, is it?
Big coat and a pint.
Yeah.
Sherry.